一体どれだけの人間がその奇跡を信じて裏切られていったか知っている？誰もが信じ、誰もが裏切られて絶望した。そして本当の魔法は私たち黒き魔女の力でしか得られないことを知るのよ。憎しみを誰かにぶつけるのはただの罪。そんなのは魔法じゃないわ。本当の魔法を私が見せてやる。こいつ。
The Black Witch winced slightly. However, Kasumi sneered at me even more.
なら見せてごらんなさいよ。それであんたはどの魔法を見せてくれるの？飴玉を降らせる魔法？それともクッキーを増やす魔法？
The instant I opened my eyes, a tremendous wind arose.
何？突然。さあさあ、おいでなさい。煉獄の七姉妹。
There was a flash behind me. In an instant, 7 high-level furniture were gathered there. It was a power that far surpassed the magical power I'd had in my prime. It was a power that matched even Maria One-chan and Beatrice.
煉獄の七姉妹、ここに。
エンジ様、あなたはかつて言ったわ。私に魔力とその覚悟がないからあなたたちを刺激できなかったのだと。私をいじめるクラスメートに仕返しがしたいなんて、そんな安っぽい感情じゃない。私はマリアお姉ちゃんのマリアージュ・ソルシエールの世界を守るために、今こそ魔法の奇跡を見せることを命令するわ。無理です。いくらなんでもこれだけ大勢の毒素の前では。
The seven sisters also remembered what had once happened in that classroom. If they could have obeyed Angie's order, they would have. However, surrounded by the toxin that runs thick in humans, they hadn't been able to display the miracle of magic. I mean, in my eyes, it is because no matter what Kasumi and Beatrice are saying to Angie, their words, well, they won't affect her this time. Like, it takes a considerable amount of power for her to stand her ground and not be affected negatively by those around her. Her opinions, her beliefs, they are not to be trampled with. And they remembered very well how deeply that had hurt Angie. But Angie spoke very quietly.
なら、あなたたちも信じて。マリアージュ・ソルシエールは人を幸せにするために生まれた。そしてそれは黒き魔女と戦うためでもあった。その創立者の一人、原初の魔女マリア教が生み出した世界を否定する愚かなる黒き魔女に、その奇跡を見せ、その世界を守るために信じて。魔法を、魔女を、今こそ奇跡を。
Kasumi gave an order to the black suits, and one of them took out a gun and pointed at Angie.
魔法を見せてくれるんでしょ？なら見せてちょうだい。魔法で火の玉でも稲妻でも打ち出して、この男を倒してみせなさいよ。チャンスは一度。3つ数えるうちにやってお見せなさい。できなければ覚悟してもらうわよ。
打ちなさいよ。
なんだこのガキ。イカれてやがるぜ。
The black suit pointed a gun and laughed at Angie's composure.
本気？こいつ頭の中まで たれなさいよ。死んじゃえば。
エンジ、無理。中断は魔法では防げないよ。
いいえ、何も恐れることはないわ。私の魔法は、煉獄の七姉妹は銃弾などものともしない。
エンジ様。
Mama was flustered by Angie's absolute trust. She would have loved to live up to that trust, if only she could. On that day as well. But she had been unable to do anything, and she had hurt Angie.
ガキめ、魔法が使えるってんなら早く見せてみやがるってんだ。
どうしたよ。早く魔法を見せてみろってんだ。ほら、遠慮はいらねえぜ。俺にバビョーンと魔法ってやつをお見舞いしてくれよ。
The Black Suits jeered at her, but Angie simply concentrated her mind in silence.
撃っちゃえば。撃ってみろって言ってるのよ、向こうは。この子恐怖でもう頭がどうかしてるんだわ。バイバイエンジェちゃん。天国で好きなだけ魔女ごっこをしてなさい。撃て。
いいんですか。
おうち死ね。エンジェ、やれるもんならやってみなさいよ、あんたの魔法を。
The black suit cocked the gun, and, sneering, he pulled the trigger. A gunshot rang out, and the world stopped. A red spray scattered, and chunks of flesh flew.
何をしてるの、マモン。銃弾ごとき無粋な石ころをエンジェ様に許すつもり？
Lucifer had lined up the bullet perfectly, and with a single swing, had sliced it in two. And in the chest of the black suit who had apparently fired the gun, there was a hole as big as a fist.
たまには私が一番乗りでもいいわよね。
Alpha Leviathan's body was covered with blood, and she wore a cold smile. Oh my! Then, slowly, the pitiful prey that she had brought down fell over.
貫いた人間を。
バカね、まだあんた信じてないの？私たちの主の魔力。これだけの人間の前で権限したっていうの？何よ、何？
Kasumi and the rest were thrown into confusion. He certainly seemed to have fired a gun. However, it then hit Angie. And why was the person who fired instead?
これが魔法。見事よ、レビアタン。
光栄の至り。我らが主に逆らう愚かなる人間どもよ、今こそひれ伏せ、審判の時。どうして？
Well, with a little bit of elbow grease and magic. Not black magic, but real magic.
人間の世界に魔法は持ち込めないはずなのに、魔法は見えないはずなのに、触れられないはずなのに、どうして？
これが本当の魔法だからよ。
何をしてるのよ、お前たち。殺せ、殺せ。
One of the black suits who had finally come to his senses pulled his gun, aimed.
我らが主に銃口を覗かせる無礼を私が許すと思ったか。死ね。
Those words were his funeral. The man had already been struck through the chest by Lucifer, who had become the stake of pride in an instant. Thump! The sound of the second person falling brought it home to the black suits that their lives were unmistakably in peril. Almost paralyzed with fright, the man turned on his heels in an attempt to escape from that place. And in an instant, the stake of sloth.
我が主への狼藉に対する報い。これ式で済んだことに感謝せよ。死ね!
A hole as big as a walnut opened in his right eye, and his head split. Methoko was sprayed with blood, and her face twisted demonically with the joy of being able to use her full power. The black suits panicked, pointing their guns in every direction. But they didn't understand what was happening. They only knew that something terrifying was coming from them from somewhere. But they didn't know where.
バカ！敵はあんたたちのすぐ目の前にいるわよ。魔女の家具があんたたちを狙ってる。
But they could not see. Because they couldn't believe in magic. They could not see. And just as the Black Witch said, Satan was standing boldly right in front of the black suit. However, the black suit couldn't see that at all.
人間に私たちの姿が見えるとでも捉えられるとでも間抜けな人間が魔法に対する畏怖を忘れたる愚かの代償を払うがいい
何よこれ。何が起こってるの。
あなたには見えない。愛がないから。
ありえない。これだけの人間がいて反魔法の毒素をばらまいてるってのにどうして魔法が権限できるの？あんた何者なの？
魔女よ。あんたと違って本物の。
うわー！畜生！この
As though announcing his candidacy for the fourth victim, another black suit pointed his gun at Angie and pulled the... Angie glared at him coldly and simply ordered,
死にさらせ！
次、サタン。
グンドのサタン、すでにここに。ならばが今のエンジェ様と私たちに銃弾ごときが当たると思うか。
The stake of wrath pierced and smashed the bullet fired by the black suit and continued straight on, towards the man's face.
己が愚かさを知り、地獄で後悔せよ。死ね！
With a terrible explosive sound, the upper half of the man's head was smashed. Bathed in scattered flesh and blood, Angie quietly asked one more time.
ねえ、かすみおばさん。まだ魔法信じる気にならないの？
ここバカなことあるわけないでしょ。認めないわ。魔法なんてあるわけがない。
You can believe all you want that magic doesn't exist, but that doesn't give you the right to deny the magic that others believe in, Kasumi. And that was your mistake.
そうよ。魔法なんてあるわけがない。魔女なんているわけがない。魔法はあるよ。魔女はいるよ。うりゅう。そうよ。魔法はあるのよ。魔女はいるのよ。そしてこの怒りと悲しみで満ちた世界に幸せの世界への扉を開く鍵にできるの。あんたなんかにそれを否定させない。 幸せな世界への鍵はみんなの手に握られてるんだ。それを奪う資格は誰にもないんだ。
Exactly.
それを理解できぬ哀れな人間よ。そなたの人生に魔法の力があったなら、もっと違った穏やかなものになっていただろう。そなたがその生涯において本当の魔女と出会えなかったことを私は憐れむ。
Kasumi let out a piercing scream. At the same time, the two remaining black suits came for me at once and thrusted their guns against my head, like they were trying to use me as a hostage against something their eyes couldn't see. Against the seven sisters of Purgatory, high-level furniture who had now reached the level of weapons. This was completely and totally pointless.
畜生、どこにいやがるんだ。攻撃をやめねえとこの天の命はねえぞ。姿を現しやがれ。
何言ってんのこいつ。美味しそうな腹渡をしてるくせに。エンジ様、次は私にお任せを。
許す。殺せ。
ありがたき幸せ。死ねえ。
The man's chest split, and his guts poured out. His terrible way of dying threw the other man into a total panic. However, Asmodeus' form was already at his back, embracing his neck with an arm, and smiling obscenely.
かわいい子。ねえねえ、どこを貫いてほしい？エンジ様、ご希望はございますか？
頭。
かしこまりました。我が主。死ね！
The final black suit had his head smashed by the stake of lust, and as his insides scattered, he twisted and fell. In that gruesome world where 6 people lay in a sea of blood, witch and human confronted each other.
スマデラかすみ、そなたの哀れなる人生に私は心の底より同情する。その埋めえぬ心の穴を塞げる魔法を授けてもよい。そなたがその魔法を信じるならば。
バカなこと言わないで。こんなの私は認めない。
As Kasumi slowly retreated backwards, scared out of her wits, she picked up a handgun that someone had dropped. And then, shaking, she pointed it at Angie.
そうよ、かすみ。その銃で撃ちなさい。あんたの憎しみを銃弾に変えて放ちなさい。殺してやる。殺してやる。あんたを殺さなきゃ私の人生は報われないのよ。そうよ、殺して引き金を引いて。あいつにあんたのみすぼらしい今日までの全ての怒りを悲し全部叩きつけてやるの。そうでなきゃあんたは痛みと苦しみから解放されないのよ。
やめて、かすみおばさん。黒き魔女に耳を貸してはダメ。
殺してやる。殺してやる。あんたの母親のせいで私の人生はめちゃくちゃ。
なら私の魔法でその人生をこれから少しずつ明るく穏やかなものにもできるかもしれない。あなたが魔法を信じ心を入れ替えさえすれば、あなたに新しい世界への扉を開いてあげられるの。
そんなものはないわ。あいつの言う救いなんてどうせおとぎ話の中だけよ。あんたの人生はもはや死ぬまでトゲまみれ。その苦痛の叫びをあいつに聞かせてやりなさい。失ったものは何も取り返せないのよ。そうでしょ、スマデラかすみ。
そうね、何も取り返せないかもしれない。 でもきっと新しく何かを生み出すことができる。だからかすみおばさん、その銃を捨ててかすみおばさんにも幸せな世界を教えてあげられるかもしれない。
私はね、あんたの母親が逃げたせいで、あんたの母親の言い名付けと身代わりに結婚させられたのよ。将来を誓い合った男がいたのよ。別れさせられたのよ。あんたの母親の代わりと継がされて、話もろくにしたことがない男とちぎりを交わさせられた私の気持ちが分かるっての。殺してやりたかった。なのに姉さんは勝手に死んだ。だからあんたを殺すの。そうでなきゃ私のトゲまみれの人生は終わらないのよ。
From Kasumi's eyes, frenzied tears dripped down. This poor woman. Even she had such clear and beautiful tears. I do feel bad for her. If she could turn around and start anew, like, that would be great. Like, right now she's having a really hard time understanding that she can release herself from her pain, like, without having to resort to this. But for that very reason, she hadn't been able to withstand her sad pain. And I had no choice but to listen to the Black Witch's temptation. Come on, Kasumi.
かわいそうに。ならばせめてあなたを、あなたの魂を永遠に解放し、塩素の鎖から解き放ってあげるわ。それが今の私にできる唯一の施しかもしれない。
死ねー、後ろ宮エンジェー。
さようなら、かすみおばさん。静かな世界でゆっくりと休んで。
I no longer feel any anger or hate towards you. I just want to let your soul rest in peace. Kasumi's handgun spat fire. Slowly, that bullet continued through a world frozen to the utmost limit, making its way towards Angie's forehead.
マモ、
強欲のマモ、ここに。
ありがとう。あなたたちと作太郎に出会えたから、私は全てを理解できた。
エンジェ。
作太郎は後ろを向いていなさい。マモ、その女を解放してあげて、そしてマリアージュ・ソルシエルの名誉を守れ。
はい、覚悟せよスマデラ・カスミ。
Even though the world was frozen, the stake of greed flashed like light. It was already through Kasumi and out the other side.
貴様に多少の得があるならば、再び煉獄の山で相まみえようぞ。死ねー。
And the upper half of Smother Kasumi's head shattered. Her cage of flesh was broken, and she was finally released.
"あとはあんたね。
I can't say that I'm a big fan of the sweet release of death. As if this was the only way to solve it. Like, even if Angie tried to reason with her to change into better. Rest in peace, Kasumi.
黒き魔女。今となっては、あなたにエヴァおばさんの面影を見ていることさえ、彼女に申し訳なく思うわ。
私の姿が未だに後ろ宮エヴァに見えているなら、 それはあんたの中で未だに私が許せてないということだわ。分かっているのよ、エンジェ。あんただってトゲまみれの人生から解放されたくて仕方がないの。なら面白いことを思いついたわ。私もあんたに魔法を見せてあげる。あんたを殺すのは私じゃないわ。
The worst smile on her face. The black witch changed her form into something like a black mist. What else? A vast swarm of black flying insects, which began to swirl around me. Then, that black mist began to amass bit by bit, shaping itself into the form of a human.
何の真似？
うすうすは想像がついてるくせに。あんたが最も憎み恨んだあの女よ。そして女もあなたを最も恨み憎んだ。
When the black mist cleared, up there was Ponteva's form, as she had been while alive. In her hands, she was holding a gun.
エヴァおばさんは死んだわよ。
お久しぶりね、エンジェ。あんたを殺すために地獄から戻ってきたわよ。
Monteva glared at me, laughing madly.
でもあまり驚かないわ。エヴァおばさんそういう人だったし。
私のお葬式はさぞや気分が晴れ晴れしたでしょ。私も晴れ晴れしていたわよ。あんたの面を二度と見なくて済むようになるんだからね。でもたった一つだけ心残りがあったわ。それがこれよ。
私を、それが最後の遺言だったの。
Oh, pitiful. Even after death, Aunt wasn't released from her suffering.
黒き魔女の力こそが私の魔法の源泉だったわ。怒りと憎しみが私に努力と不屈を教えてくれた。それはあんたの言う現実逃避の魔法とは全く違うの。
Sure. If by hard work and persistence you mean having to live up to your father who never loved you, and suffer because of it your entire life, no matter how hard you try it, then why not, Eva? Why not?
あんたの言う魔法なんてただの八つ当たりによるストレス解消だわ。私たちの魔法は違う。世界そのものを作り変えるの。あんたの性悪魔法とは全く格が違う。
なら黒と白のどちらが勝つかこの場で決着をつけてあげる。死してなお黒き魔法で復活してあんたをこうして重厚で狙える私の奇跡に、あんたの白き魔法はどんな奇跡で対抗を？半魔法の毒素であなたを取り込んだわ。七姉妹はもう二度と呼べないわよ。さっきの奇跡はもう起こらない。
それでも怒るから魔法って言うんだわ。いいわよ。マモン、私に力を貸して。
But Mama didn't respond. She didn't appear. Certainly, as she said, the anti-magic toxin had burned everything up like a wasteland parched by a blazing sun. This might be a little tough.
呼びかけても無駄よ。もう二度と煉獄の七姉妹は答えない。
だからそれでも呼べるから魔法なのよね。
哀れね、エンジェ。さよなら。あんたとのささやかな日々はそこそこに楽しかったわ。これでお別れよ。よかったわね。あんたの終着駅がここ
ええ、全くよ。気が利くわね。
で。ありがとう。それじゃお別れね。
The barrel of the gun rose slowly, so that you could see all the way down it. And the trigger was slowly. Then there was a loud bang from the gun. Not in the sense that it fired. It exploded. You're kidding me. In shock, inside frozen space, Eva looked at the exploded gun. When time unfroze, the fragments would probably smash into her face all at once.
強欲のママ、ここに。バカ。
Behind Eva's back, Mammon stood. She'd already penetrated the target I had given her, which was the gun.
これで魔法は十分？エヴァおばさん。
エンジェ。
Then, time unfroze. Fragments of the ruptured gun and gunpowder gas burned her face. Landing on a shrill scream, she rolled around covering her face. It was pitiful.
運がなかったわね。これでゲームオーバーよ。エヴァおばさん。
I signaled to Mama to free Eva quickly from her pain as she writhed around with her burned face.
ありがとう、マモン。あの日の教室であなたたちの無力を罵ったことを今こそ心の底より、そして再び謝るわ。あなたたちは魔女を守るための優秀な家具だった。
こちらこそ感謝します。良き魔女に、良き主に最後に出会え、家具の本分を尽くせたことを心より光栄に思います。
Mammon understood. This would be the final job I would ever give her. Mammon quietly walked close. Then, she looked down upon her.
エヴァおばさん、今日まで付き合ってくれてありがとう。
If only things turned out differently. Sorry, Eva.
これでお別れよ。Have a nice dream. See you hell.
Then, the light sound of her forehead being perforated rang out. And the bell of gunpowder smoke, delirium, and white and black magic was over. It felt like it had been a long, truly long journey, and the road slowly sank into darkness. The stars that should be sparkling lay not in the sky, but were scattered beneath me. When I recognized that the pearls and rubies were creating a river of white and red, I realized that it was a vast nighttime scene that was spread out below me. I was in the sky of that nighttime scene, neither standing nor flying, but simply floating in the air. From nowhere in particular, I could hear the sound of one person clapping. A truly dull applause. I understood. He was the one who ordered me to go on this journey. Ben Castell.
おめでとう。無限の魔女、エンジェ・ベアトリーチェ。あなたは旅路の末に魔法のすべてを理解したわ。
ええ、私は今や魔法のすべてを理解した。私は魔女よ。マリアージュ・ソルシエルが生み出した魔法世界を継承した最後の魔女。
あなたにしかベアトリーチェの世界を切り裂けない。
魔法を知るからこそそれに抵抗も覚えるわ。魔法は愛と悲しみと怒りでできている。ベアトリーチェがどんなに残酷な魔女であったとしても、その魔法の源泉は全く同じ。だからこそ彼女のその世界を本当はそっとしてあげたい。少なくとも彼女にとってその世界は完成しているのだから。
あなたが家族を諦められるならね。
Right. But while I still do not understand, like, the true motive of all that happened here on Okenjima, I think it's safe to say that something can be done in regards to Beatrice. Not to mention that Angie definitely needs to help Bella and the rest of the family.
そう。だから申し訳ないけれど、私は戦わなければならない。家族を取り戻せるかもしれないわずかの確率にかけて魔女となる旅に出たのだから。
ベアトリーチェを殺さない限り、あなたには孤独な世界しか存在しない。それを100億のかけらを旅した私が保証するわ。
分かってるわ。同情してる余地なんて私にはないのよ。心を鬼にして彼女の心を切り裂かなくてはならない。
その気持ちが揺るぎないならよかったわ。
Orange flavored Tic Tacs or strawberry flavored Tic Tacs? Which one should I go for right now, I wonder? Oh, well, looks like somebody is finally waking up.
You've got some nerve attacking me like that.
Sorry?
Well then, Mr. Big Shot. If it's a fight you're looking for, then here it comes. State the name of your first suspect. Let's kick this battle into high gear. No more lollygagging. If you think it is one of the 15 humans, then let me hear your reasoning. State the name of your first suspect.
Not gonna state just one name. If we're discussing one human with a physical body and multiple names and personas, then one name won't cut it. The names of the suspect holding a single human body are Shannon, Sayo, Beatrice, and Beatrice.
Interesting. It would have been so easy for you to just mention the name Shannon. Then let us begin. Our first contestant for the day. Tell me, why do you think she is the hidden culprit?
First, I'm gonna state that there very well can be a strong connection between Shannon, witch Beatrice, and human Beatrice that makes them one and the same human. When Maria came to visit Rokkenjima during the previous years, we see in Game 4 the alliance that was created with the help of Virgilia and Beatrice. Up until this point, we have seen this link between humans and magical beings. Genji being the vessel of Oronoe, Kumasawa being the vessel of Virgilia, Eva being the vessel of Beatrice. So from that I can deduce that Maria has this ability of seeing humans in their magical form counterparts. So in Human Claim, Maria more than likely talked to Kumasawa about all sorts of magical things. And we've seen Kumasawa have knowledge of spirits inhabiting the Rokkenjima island, and the weakness of spider webs. So I'm gonna state the following in orange. If in the eyes of Maria, Kumasawa is Virgilia, then our culprit could very well be Witch Beatrice, going by the idea of each human representing a vessel for their demon/furniture/witch counterpart. We know that Virgilia was Witch Beatrice's master before, which can be seen in similar fashion to how Shannon learned about the weakness of spider webs from Kumasawa back in Game 2. So you're saying that the connection that Maria has to Beatrice stems from the delusional mind of a child who sees Shannon as Beatrice, the reason why Maria is helping the hidden culprit in the murders. Then I shall state the following in green. The parallel of mentor-student in the case of Virgilia and Beatrice doesn't represent evidence towards the identity of the hidden culprit being Shannon/Sayo. It's just a baseless theory stemming from brainless magic mumbo-jumbo. Either you offer me more evidence towards Kumasawa being in cahoots with Shannon in the murders on Rokkenjima, which would destroy my green counter, or come up with something else. As of now, I don't have any other piece of evidence that links Shannon and Kumasawa to being in cahoots, but I am gonna go forward with a connection between Shannon and Maria though. Namely, that when Maria visited Rokkenjima, she and Shannon interacted with each other. Like both Maria and Witch Beatrice used to do pranks to adults inside the mansion. And this tells me that maybe the hidden culprit worked inside the mansion as a servant under the adults' noses. So I will state the following in orange. The identity of Shannon/Sayo as the hidden culprit of the mass murder can stem from the idea of her interacting with Maria as Witch Beatrice during the visits on Rokkenjima, doing pranks and teaching magic under the nose of every other human on the island. And on top of that, more clues have surfaced recently that connects Shannon to Beatrice, and so I will state the following in orange as well. The Shannon-Beatrice connection can be seen when Beatrice mentions Balor's English talk of his middle school days, in similar fashion to Shannon at the beach in Game 2. Also, Beatrice's statement in regards to her being the Ushiromiya family's furniture points towards her being Shannon. Counter Green! Shannon/Sayo's identity as Beatrice is impossible due to their ages and different time periods in which they existed. Your comments in regards to Witch Beatrice sound like nonsense to me. The only thing I understand from it all is that you seem to go with the idea that Shannon is the human Beatrice of the human world who Kinzo fell in love with. But need I remind you that Beatrice existed long before Shannon was even a sperm. She is 16 years old, which would imply that Shannon was born in 1970, long after we've seen Kinzo interact with Beatrice on Kuwadori in 1967. Hold it! And how about this? It's not that Shannon is the exact same person as human Beatrice of 1967. It very well can be that Shannon/Sayo is the child of Kinzo and Kuwadori and Beatrice. Excuse me, what? You heard me. Kuwadori and Beatrice may have given birth to Shannon, and thus, after Kuwadori and Beatrice died, Shannon/Sayo eventually assumed the role of the new human Beatrice. Kuwadori and Beatrice is not the same as Shannon/Sayo's current personality of human Beatrice. I see. So you're trying to say that Shannon is not actually 16. That's right. Shannon/Sayo is not 16, but 19 years or older. Her serving Kinzo as the highest ranked servant stems from her being the child of Kuwadori and Beatrice. Alright, fun time is over now. Counter Green! Even if Shannon or Sayo or whatever
is linked to human Beatrice or witch Beatrice, it does not make her the murderer of Kenjima mass murder. No statements have been made thus far in red that Beatrice is the murderer of Kenjima mass murder. Because of that, even if you are to link them together, it is useless if you cannot prove that Shannon or Sayo is the culprit of the Twilights, or the one responsible for the murders in general. You can give me all the reasons why you think she is responsible, but the backbone of this murder mystery is the how. Tell me how Shannon or Sayo managed to kill everyone.
Juicy.
Ready for the next round?
You bet your bony ass, Nefarious. Let's get to it.